thank you for tuning in to Connections and Directions, our University of Michigan Civil and Environmental Engineering podcast. My name is Michelle Santillian, and I am the CEE Marketing Communications Specialist and host of this series. During our podcasts, we are featuring members of our CEE community and how their work reflects our mission of engineers in service to society. We will be highlighting our strategic directions and our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. CEE's 5 strategic directions are human habitat experience, shaping resource flows, adaptation, automation, and smart infrastructure finance. We're here with Zhichen Liu, a third-year PhD student in transportation studies. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me here.
How do you see yourself participating in CEE's strategic directions with your research, and how do you see it fitting into one of those or multiple of those 5 areas?
I think in general, our next generation transportation programs is related but not limited to the automation, adaptation, and smart infrastructures. And we and my peers, we are investigating how to use emerging technologies such as vehicle automation and connectivities to transform traffic controls, network modelings, and other innovative shared mobility services. So personally speaking, my research is about how to leverage emerging connected autonomous vehicle trajectories and tries to transform the current network equilibrium analysis framework and to support better data-informed decisions for policymakers.
And specifically, how are you engaging in this research? What does the testing consist of, if you will?
When transportation planning agencies make decisions they need to predict what is the travel demand in 5 or 10 years, and then make decision about what is the best way to deploy our roadway infrastructures and what are the tooling and pricing strategies we need to do to reduce the overall congestions. When this framework was initiated like 70 years ago, there was little data available about how people travel every day. So what planners at that time can do is they will manually collect some survey data. But that is expensive to collect it and only covers a very subsamples of the total populations. But now things becomes different. We got trajectory data, mobile phone data, and loop detector data, and all these data have abundant of information about how people travel every day. So my research questions is, can we somehow leverage this kind of new emerging and multi-source data tries to better inform the transportation planning strategies? So more specifically, what I do is I try to integrate the game theory perspectives, is try to model the interactions among all travelers in this road network, and I also integrated some recent development in machine learning technologies and try to use the neural networks to better capture the complicated behaviors of travelers. And after I got these neural network-based models, I could try to learn people's behavior directly from the empirical trajectory data. And after I learning about people's behaviors, I can go on to do some policy optimizations to design the optimal improvement schemes for the policymakers.
That's an excellent response. And how do you envision everything that you've just described? How do you see that tying into CEE's mission of engineers in service to society?
For me, civil engineering is a field that directly impacts everyone's everyday lives and will directly changes the infrastructures around us. And for me, being an engineer in service to society is being a concerned problem solvers. We need to be concerned with what is going on the societies, what are the emerging technologies, and what are the real needs of people. And then we can be a problem solvers who can use our knowledges to give better and more equitable solutions to make the transportation system better. Yeah,
And you just said more equitable. How do you see DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, incorporated in our department?
I think the DEI really offers a very welcoming and inclusive environment for the communities. It helps to connect and support students from a highly diversified background. So personally speaking, I start my first semesters remotely in China. I did struggle at the beginnings because I got the 12-hour time differences and I got no classmates around me to have any kind of small talks. So I remember at that time, our department have peer mentor programs, which pairs with us remote students with a more senior master student or PhD student. I really appreciate it because it helps to connect me with our communities, even though I was doing everything physically remotely. And I appreciated my peer mentors who gives me a lot of suggestions about how to help me to finally smoothly transfer it into my graduate life. Yeah, I really appreciate it. So these years I go back to our peer mentor programs, but this time as a mentor, not mentee. And hopefully what I learned through my experiences could be something helpful for this new coming student.
Thank you for giving back in that way. And do you belong to the Michigan Student Transportation Organization?
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about the work you do in there?
So the Michigan Transportation Student Organizations, we are a student interest group that are open to anyone who have an interest in transportation. We aims to connect students with academic, research, and industry opportunities both on and off campus. So we have mainly three types of event. The first is Lunch and Learn, which is a bi-weekly seminars which offers free food and features prominent speakers. We have invited professors in our own department, our alumni, as well as research scientists from the industries such as General Motors. The second line of main activities we do is technical tours. We have our regular field trip towards M cities, and this month we will be organizing a field trip towards the Detroit airport. And additionally, we do support graduate students and undergraduate students to attend academic conferences. So this year's we coordinated with CCAT to facilitate students to participate the Transportation Research Annual Meeting, which is a top-tier conference in our own field. And I think undergraduate students will especially benefited from mentorship match. We paired every undergraduate student with an industry representative at the receptions to help them better kickstart their first TRB experience.
It sounds like you have a lot of activities planned as an organization. That's great. And why did you choose to come to Michigan's CEE department? What would you say to prospective students who are considering the University of Michigan in this area?
Um, we really have a strong reputation and strong faculties. Our engineering programs is the top tier programs in the United States and around the world. And we got excellent professors, Professor Ng, Professor Liu, Professor Masood, and Professor Shao. They are all leaders in their own field, and their studies covers a very range of interesting topics in transportation. And the second thing that I really enjoyed at Michigan is we have a broad curriculums. We have our professors offering classes that covering a wide range of interesting topics in transportation, and also we are able to take classes from other departments as well. Personally, I benefited a lot from the optimization class from the IOE department and the machine learning class from the X department. These kind of broad curriculums really helps me to explore my interests and develop a well-rounded skill set for my own career goal. And I do enjoy the peaceful life in Ann Arbor, and we had a very engaging community.
And you were saying that you're serving as a peer mentor. If you had one piece of advice that you could offer to an incoming student or a prospective student at University of Michigan CEE, what would that word of wisdom be, or that advice be?
For me, it's just find your passion and work hard. You may take some time to find your interest, to find what really fascinates you. And as long as you find it, all it takes is just diligence and persistence to take you towards a successful careers. And hopefully what you do can be beneficial to the societies and make the general society better in the same time.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to our podcast conversation. For more information about CEE at Michigan, please visit our website at cee.umich.edu. You can also reach our YouTube channel and Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn pages from our website.